All right, Hang On and Air is live. Let's see what the difference is between I think we're going to try it with that. Okay, it's 3:52. I need to invite people. Oh, I forgot about this. Options. No, don't do any of that. Okay, all right. Evidently I never did that. That's good. Okay. Messages here. Okay. Oh, we have 2 viewers. Okay, let's get this exactly right. Okay, we're seeing cameras on. Okay, all that's good. All right. And let's invite Cindy here. Go to YouTube. Line all the way down. Okay, share this. Okay. We go to YouTube. And Okay, there I am. Chat. Yeah, I know that's right. I'm just as if you're unmuting myself. Chat. Okay. Okay, got that. We got the media all the way down. There I am. And hopefully we will look good. I think I look good. Everything's fine. We've got 5 viewers. That's all good to go. That's all good to go. I just need to get everything else ready to go. Oh,
I'm here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm the worst at technology. I was about to throw this computer out the window.
No. That is honestly okay. I mean, it's no big deal. It will be fine. I figured to get it working because I've had the other people who I've done this with, they've had issues with technology too, and we always work it out, so don't worry.
Yeah, it worked out, so it's all good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Hey, you look great. I don't think we actually haven't done a video chat. You and I haven't, so this kind of
no. I feel like it's definitely was time for that to happen for sure.
Right.
Yeah, we've talked so much online, but never in person. Right, so it's kind of nice to finally do that.
Right. Okay. Well,
I'm just trying to get onto the YouTube page. 1 second here.
Okay. Yeah. I know that right now, because I've been trying to watch. I know that there's a few viewers, and I know I've sent out the link. If
nice.
So even if we don't get a whole lot of people, I've done these now. I think this is the third one I've done, and people do tend to
watch later.
Yeah, they do tend to watch later. So even if we don't get a lot of people right at the moment,
that's fine.
There will be people that will watch it later, and they'll kind of see the edited version, which is nice because I can cut out because what I do is I start the broadcast a little bit earlier,
right?
Just so that I make sure that I get all the kinks worked out. And
I hear ya. So then you want to get that part out of the way.
right. But it is so good. I am so excited about Date My Dad. That has been so great.
Yeah, it's been really amazing. I honestly, from the get-go, just being a part of the show and just getting the part and then actually shooting it, which was like a dream come true. And then just actually knowing that people are watching it and being receptive to it is just, I don't know, it's always so weird. You know, you make this show, anything you work on it, but then when people actually see it, it's like, it's real. When you're doing it, I don't know, it's a very strange feeling when people actually get to see your work. It's very humbling and really exciting.
Right. I know how that is. I don't know it from an actor standpoint, but I know that when I spend all this time getting a blog post together, interview together, and I put it up, and then people start interacting with it, and they read it, they respond to it. It's a really neat experience. So
yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. So for anyone who is joining us, of course, people will be joining us later, but I know we have a few people that are joining us now. So for those who are joining us, I have with me today Cindy Busby.
Hi.
And some of you probably know her from Hallmark Channel, and also, of course, the Up channel with her show that's airing right now, Date My Dad. In fact, it will be airing tonight.
Yes. Friday night, 9 Eastern.
Yes, and that is so awesome. That has made, actually, Date My Dad has become the thing to watch on Friday night.
I've seen that. You know, it's sometimes you think maybe Friday night won't be a popular night to watch TV, but I feel like after a long week of work, people get home and they just want to watch something that's going to be entertaining with their family. And I really think that that's what Date My Dad has kind of done for Friday nights for a lot of people. And I feel that that's so special because I know when I was young, I used to watch TGIF all the time on Friday nights, which I loved. And I looked forward to it every single week. And it was like 2 hours of just like me time with my family and my brother. And so I'm happy that Date My Dad can do that for a lot of people.
Right, because when I started watching this, after I saw the pilot and then this, because actually it was the pilot and then the next show, they had 2 shows back to back the first night.
Yep.
And when I watched it, I told my mom, there is really nothing like this on TV right now. It's like back, like you're talking about TGIF. Yeah, I grew up watching TGIF too. It was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there were those family sitcoms that the whole family could sit down and watch together. You didn't have to worry about there being violence or lots of bad languages or these bedroom scenes that, it's like you didn't want the little kids to see or something.
Nobody needs to be watching with their parents. You know what I mean?
Right. And so that was just really neat to see something. I thought you guys are really, with this show, are recreating something that we don't really have anymore. And
I could not agree more. And I don't personally have kids at the moment, but I have friends that do. And it's funny because one of my best friends, she watches it with her little daughter that just turned 1. And, and her daughter doesn't watch a lot of TV, but they have their once a week where they sit down and watch Date My Dad. And she always sends me a little video. She's like, she calls me Aunt Buzz. And she's like, look, it's Aunt Buzz on the TV. And her daughter's like 1, and she's just got the biggest eyes, and she's so excited. And for me, that is like the greatest gift. If one of my best friends can watch it with her 1-year-old, like that is incredible.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. So the question that I have, so how did you get the opportunity? How did this come about for you to become a part of the show?
Well, I personally have always wanted to work on some sort of comedy. That's always been my passion. I love it so much, in case you can't already tell, from just like, my social media stuff. And I think it was November of last year, beginning of November, I got this audition, and I remember reading the material and thinking like, wow, I really connect with this. And she had a voice, like as soon as I read the lines, she had a voice in my head, the role of Stephanie, and I could hear it so clearly. And that doesn't happen all the time when you get auditions for things. And I really connected with her, and I was like, you know what, whatever happens, like I feel really close with this character. So I went in, and I remember auditioning for it and it going really well and leaving there and seeing a lot of my peers that I know really well in town that are also actresses, and just, wishing them the best, but knowing that I had done a good job and done everything that I could. And then I think it was about a month later, maybe a little bit less, and my agent called me, and I was going to go to the States to go meet my boyfriend for Christmas. And she said, hey, they're having callbacks / chemistry reads for Date My Dad. Are you still going to be in town? Because they'd like to see you. And it was on the Friday and I was leaving on the Sunday. So I was like, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. I will be there. So she's like, awesome. So then I was getting really excited and I worked really hard and I went in, and actually Barry flew into Vancouver just for the day to chemistry read with the part of Stephanie and the part of the daughters, which, by the way, really doesn't happen very often. There aren't a lot of actors out there that will really go out of their way to come in and read with actors or actresses to see, is there chemistry? Is this going to work? Because that's such a vital part to making any show successful, is the chemistry and the energy between them. And can you bring that? And obviously an audition situation, you know, there's nerves and there's all kinds of things involved. But I went in, I got to meet Barry, and from the get-go, he was so lovely and so welcoming. And it's also nice because he knows what it's like to audition. So you could see that he was wanting to make it as pleasant as possible for every person coming in the room. And I went in and I felt a really great connection with him. And I thought that everything went really well. And you know, the producers and the director was there. And I left the audition being like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. Because you never know. There's so many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to getting roles, that you can never just take anything too seriously. And I think it was probably a week and a half later that I was with my boyfriend. It's funny, we were at a gas station and my agent called me and she's like, hold on, I've got Mike on the line, which is my manager. And usually when they call me together, it's with good news. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? But I had auditioned a lot, so I didn't know what it was. And then they told me the great news that I'd gotten the part. And I just started crying and I started laughing, and my boyfriend's like pumping the gas and he looks through the car window and he like smiles at me and he just sees tears like streaming down my face and he doesn't know what's going on. And I was like, and he's like, and he's like pumping gas, wondering, and then finally gets in the car and I'm on the phone and he's like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah. And then I hang up and I was like, oh my gosh, I booked Date My Dad. And he was like, what? And he just gave me a big hug. And it was just like, it was such a beautiful Christmas gift. It was such a blessing, and I was so thankful. And that's really how it came to be. You know, it's just the stars aligned, and I've been just so grateful ever since.
Wow, well, that was a great Christmas gift. Then that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a great gift.
That's about the best gift that you could have, to not only to book a role, but to book a role on a comedy series, and you've been wanting to do comedy. I mean, that's so cool.
I know, I still like can't even believe it happened. I'm so happy.
Yeah, because when you booked that, when I finally found out that you were part of it, because people started telling me I'd interviewed some people here and there, and they'd say, oh, well, I'm going to be on this show, Date My Dad. And it seemed like every time I turned around, I was hearing this person's in it, and this person's in it, and this person's in it. And the list kept going on. And then it's like, Cindy Busby's in it. Oh my, I was so excited for you.
Yeah, it was kind of, I think I was waiting a little while just to be, you know, I don't personally like to talk about things until like things are like set in stone, because you never know what can happen. And so basically I waited till the day I was on, like, I think the next day after my first day on set, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna like post something about it just to let everyone know what the heck I've been up to. So yeah, it was.
Right. So now with the character of Stephanie,
yes.
Now how are you like her, and how are you different than her?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that I'm like her in the sense of her work ethic. I think that she's a very strong worker. She takes her job really seriously. She's going to school at the same time, so she's juggling a lot of things, which I tend to do as well. I'm juggling a lot of things at once, but you know, that's part of the game. And so I would take that, you know, her seriousness about being the best she can be all the time, and not always getting it right, but always at least trying to get it right. And then also just her sense of humor. I think like her dry humor and her sense of sarcasm and not taking, again, anything too seriously. I'd probably say the fact that she's a trainer is different than me, because I literally have to drag my butt out of bed to like work out. So we probably have that. That's not in common. And then I'd probably say, I mean, I've had my fair share of bad dates, I would say, but I haven't had her struggles in the past. So there's that. I've definitely been more. She's like a pretty big dater who kind of like meets a bunch of guys, but can't really settle down with one of them. Whereas I feel like I've been quite monogamous in my life and haven't been someone who just dates around and doesn't settle down. So I'd probably say those are the biggest differences.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, from the beginning, it seemed like you really connected with the character. You know how sometimes when a show is starting, like when we watch the pilot, sometimes it takes a little while for the actors to get into their roles. You know, not they're not good, but it's just trying to find themselves.
Sure.
But with you, it was just like, because I remember telling my mom, it's like you from the beginning seemed to have this really strong connection with Stephanie.
Yeah, I don't, you know what? I think that it's also about how I've just grown a lot in the last year and a half personally and therefore professionally. And I think that I just have learned to connect better with myself. And because I've connected better with myself on a deeper level, I feel that I'm able to connect the dots with the characters that come to me. Because I really do think that it's all about timing. And I think that it's all about what's best for you in that moment. And, you know, I feel like there's stages that actors go through on the types of things that they book according to what's going on in their life. And I like, you know, and they say, what's the saying? Oh man, I can't believe it. I can't remember. But anyway, the idea of art imitating life and life imitating art. Yes, that whole thing. So yeah. I think that has something to do with it as well. And I think her groundedness, her sense of humor is probably, and her work ethic is probably what I just connected with. And then also just the people I get to work with, I think we just connected like immediately. And that makes all the difference if you can feel grounded from the get-go.
Yeah. Because I know you've shared on social media about how much fun you guys have behind the scenes.
Yes. I'm sure you saw the blooper reel, the mini blooper reel recently. Yeah, I loved it.
So are there any behind the scenes stories? I mean, I know you've shared some, I realize that, but is there anything that comes to mind that's like a really special memory or, you know, or a really funny memory that stands out?
So, I mean, it gets to the point where there's so many things that you're just like, you can't even think of one thing. I'd probably say something that was really special was on one of our lunch hours, probably at the end of March, I think it was. The producers put together the pilot. It was a rough cut. And so it hadn't been color corrected or the sound hadn't been done, and the credits weren't done, but they sat us all down and they put a projector up and we got to watch it all with the cast and crew together. And everyone like had their lunches and we're eating lunch, watching the show. And it was like, everyone was laughing and, you know, I was like tearing up and so were, you know, and so was a lot of people, and they've been working on it, you know, and they saw it live and in real time. And now we're watching it. And that was really special to share that with the cast and crew because, you know, so many times you're making something and you don't know what it's going to be like. And then you have the opportunity of seeing the final product with the people you've made it with. And that to me was such a special moment to share that with everyone. And then I feel like the rest of the day, everyone knew what they had made together. And it kind of connected us on a deeper level, which I really enjoyed. And I gotta give props to the crew on the show because, you know what? They work day in and day out. They're there from the beginning to the end. And, you know, along with Barry. Barry was probably the one who was in everything. The only cast member that was in everything. And they were always in such great moods. And anytime maybe they were having an off day, we'd be shooting in the gym. And I know that a lot of like the camera guys would just be like, oh, we just love days in the gym. Like it's always fun and lighthearted because like the scenes in the gym are just crazy. Like they're so silly and out there. And Matty Finocchio, who plays Alan. I mean, I've talked about it before, but like that guy just kills me. He is so funny. Me and Barry will be doing scenes and we'll just be looking at each other, like trying not to pee our pants laughing. Like it's just so fun. So fun.
I can imagine. I mean, those scenes in the gym. I mean, I love all the scenes, but those scenes in the gym are always like, you know, they're going to the gym. There's going to be all this funny stuff. I mean, you just know that that's going to happen. So that's
it's nice to have that lightheartedness that to the show. That there are some really deep. There is some deep content on the show, so I think it's important to always sugarcoat with a little bit of humor, as humans do. When times are tough, that's comedy is usually what we turn to, and I think that's why it's so important to me.
Right. I would agree completely. Now, the thing that also I've really noticed on the show, there's a lot of women, I guess I would say, involved in this show. And that's something cool. I love seeing that because sometimes you don't see you see shows. I mean, not that I have anything against there being strong guys and casts and stuff. I mean, that's great. Mm-hmm. But it's neat to see strong women being featured.
Yeah.
But how did the guys in the cast deal? Because I'm thinking, there's you, who I would consider very strong woman.
Thank you.
You have the three girls who I've actually interviewed all three girls, and I mean they're very, I mean they're pretty strong, and then you have Raquel Welch. I mean, you have all these really strong women, and then you have the guys. And how did they deal with having all these? Because sometimes men are intimidated by strong women, and I'm sure that the men who are involved with the cast were not like that. But how did they deal with all these strong women involved?
I think it was really well embraced. I think I really believe that the lead of any show sets the tone for any series or any movie. And that's something I've done anytime I've been the lead of something. I take great pride in creating such a really great environment and creating a lot of positivity. And in times that aren't always easy and aren't always positive, sometimes you got to take deep breaths and just be in the moment and know that, it's not brain surgery here. We get to play characters for a living. You know what I mean? But Barry really did that on this show. He set a tone, and I think that from the get-go, Barry has a really strong relationship with his wife, who is like a force to be reckoned with, is such a lovely woman, and has a daughter himself. So I think that's also, he has 2 sons and a daughter, and I think having a daughter has really taught him even more. I think he's talked about this in interviews as well, is how much having a daughter has taught him even more about women. Even though she's quite young, you see it from a young age that women, little girls and little boys are so different in that way. And I think he has such a love and respect for women that set a tone. And the creator of the show is a woman, Nina Coleman. So that in itself sets, and Nina is if I may, is such a badass woman. Like, she is so awesome. Like, when she shows up on set, she's fun. She's like, you don't want to mess with her. Like, she is just cool. And she knows what she's talking about, and she's gone through all of it. She's done, she's had great successes and great losses, but all of that makes you a better person. And I don't know, I just really think that those two, and then, the Barbara Fisher, who takes care of us on Up TV, she is also incredible and would come to set a lot, would fly in from LA. And so I think that the people that set the tone for the show were really dominant females or great feminists, such as Barry. And I think that just made everybody, like, if they weren't huge advocates of women, they had to pretend to be, because it would not fly. So to be honest. And then there's obviously Raquel Welch, who, you know, you don't know when a woman like that shows up on set. I think a lot of people were kind of like, what is it going to be like? Like, how is she going to be? What is her attitude going to be? And like, she's so sweet. She's so quiet. She's, you know, she really keeps to herself. She's very polite, always says hello to everyone. Like, you know what I mean? So that really like just also set a tone, because when, you know, a Hollywood legend shows up and is Raquel Welch, this like babylicious woman, I don't care how old she is, like, hello, thank you. You know? So I don't know. I think that I feel really proud to be on a very like woman headstrong kind of show. That's a blessing.
Right. Well, and I think I kind of knew. I mean, I knew that it was good, that these guys had to be okay with all these women, but but hearing it from your perspective, that just helps me understand. Well, that's why the show works so well. Yes. And that's great. You mentioned Raquel Welch. I mean, I look at that woman, I think she is so amazing. She looks so amazing. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking. I mean,
it doesn't go without. You know, if anything, she's a prime example of like someone who, like, of what you can look like if you take care of yourself. You know. So there's that, and of course, you know, the living in a bit of luxury and things of that nature. But she's definitely had an incredible life, so that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it was so, because when I found out she was a part of it, I was like, oh my goodness, you know, like that was just a really big deal. And so that was I
remember when I did the first read through with the cast, I was doing it via Skype because I was in LA at the time. And I remember everyone saying hi to me because I didn't know everyone who was part of the cast yet. Like, I hadn't met. And I remember right in front of the camera, I couldn't see all of the cast. Like, they said hi to me, but then they'd sit in their seats. I remember Raquel sitting right in front of the camera, and she was the first person I saw. And I was just like, Raquel Welch is in this, in my head. And I remember my boyfriend was away and he'd just come in, and I remember writing on a piece of paper for him. I was like, Raquel Welch is playing Abuela, and like handing it to him. So like, I wouldn't, you know, be too obvious. And he was like, really? Oh my God, that's awesome. So that was pretty exciting.
Right. There is actually a fan question. This is cool. So from James Clark.
Oh, hi, James.
He's asking,
hi.
What does Cindy do in her off time to relax?
I feel like he's asked me this on Twitter before. You know, to start off, I love what I do so much that, to me, as hard work as it can be and how time consuming it can be, it's so much fun that like I enjoy every minute of it. So therefore I find that relaxing. You know what I mean? Like, when you love something so much, it's easy to do. But I would say the things I do to actually relax are workout. Because I really think creating, like, letting go of that energy gets rid of anxiety, creates endorphins. That's really important to me. Working out, doing some form of physical activity. I really enjoy meditating. That's something that is a big part of my life. If it's not for 2 minutes, it's for 15 minutes or a half an hour, but I really try to fit that into my daily routine. And then just like socializing. I love socializing with people. Important to me. I love, you know, eating out, having a good time. I love eating and eating. I basically work out to eat. I also really love reading. I love writing. But of course, when I am working, I don't have a lot of time for those things. But it's finding the time to meditating and like grounding myself. Those things are really important. And then sometimes if it's just as easy as going to get a massage or a pedicure, or little things like that, just to like feel girly again and kind of reset myself.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That all sounds really good. That's
Simple things. It's all in the simplicity, you know. I really would like to travel more. My boyfriend and I are trying to plan a European vacation right now, so we're kind of trying to make that happen. So that's going to be, because he works a lot as well, so we're trying to take that time for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be exciting to do. I understand. Traveling takes some planning, and probably not always that easy being an actor and trying to plan time to actually, because you get to travel for your job. So I mean, it sounds great. You know, you get to go different places, but you don't always get to go and vacation.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll have like one day off and you'll visit, but you're like brain dead basically. Or working on your work that's coming up. So there's not a lot of downtime for sure. Your brain is like in work mode. It's like go, go, go all the time.
Right. So now with going back to your character, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she has that thing of, you know, of course, trying to find the perfect date for her, but she also is always counseling her boss about you know, what kind of person he should be looking for.
Yeah.
So as Stephanie, what kind of person do you think he would be perfect for him? If you had to pick someone out as your character, what kind of person what does he need, do you think?
I think she would have to be someone who obviously loves kids. Someone who is also career driven, but also takes time for herself. I think he needs a strong woman, a woman who can kind of hold her own in a discussion. I think someone who's physically active, because he is as well. That's a big part of his life. Maybe she has kids, or maybe she doesn't. I don't know. That way it would kind of, you know, be easier for them to work together. Yeah, I think someone with a sense of humor. I would say someone who's a strong woman, a woman who loves kids, who's outgoing, and who maybe has kids, or maybe that being an option of some sorts.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that all sounds good. But we'll hope that he finds someone like that.
I know, and probably someone who's, you know, got it figured out. Someone who can multitask, because he has trouble multitasking. I mean, no offense, men out there, but you know, women are known for being great multitaskers. So there's that.
That is true, and I think most men that I know would agree with that. Would admit that they do not multitask well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
If they don't admit it, then they're probably in denial. I mean, nothing against them, but that's what I've seen. That's what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some more questions coming in here. So now, Audrey Weaver, she's asking, do you watch yourself on screen? And that's actually a good question, because I know some actors do not like to watch themselves, and they even avoid it, and some really like to do it. So,
I don't have a problem with it. I get more squeamish when I'm watching myself with other people. If I'm watching myself on my own, I can, you know, watch it for what it is. I can kind of, you know, break it down like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. Like, I can watch myself and like give myself props for the good work I've done, or be like, you know what, that could have been better, but oh, that scene was good. So, you know, oh yeah, that's what, or I'll watch and be like, oh yeah, I remember that was going on when when we were shooting this, or like, it'll remind me of certain things. So I don't know. I think personally, I think it's important to watch yourself or to see your work, because I don't know, what our work is such a big part of our life that to me, it's kind of like a big chapter of my life. So to negate or to ignore that is kind of feel like I'd be ignoring a part of my life. in a way. I mean, I'm not at home watching myself on loop or anything like that, but I will watch everything I've done at least once, just to at least know what the heck everyone is talking about, you know, when they're talking about my work.
Okay. Well, that's good. I think, because I think that, now, of course, I realize I'm not an actor, but I think that I would think that at least being willing to watch yourself, it's a good way of seeing, you know, how did it really come across? How could it be better? So I think that's good. But I can understand when I watch these interviews back with that, because
Right.
and I watched them with my parents, it is a little bit like, okay, but it doesn't bother me too much, but it is that feeling of being self-conscious. So I know what you mean.
You know what it is? It's just like accepting yourself for what is. And, you know, people are, and we always critique ourselves way worse than anyone else does. And I also think that, you know, you just got to accept for what it is. You're alive, you're breathing, you live in a great place. And that in itself is a gift. So, and I also, you know, watching myself, I also enjoy seeing what went on in the editing room, because what we've done, which is one of the reasons why I like to watch it, what we did in the room can be so different than how they edited it. And then with the music added on and people's reactions, like it gives you an editing can truly be magic. Like you can take something that is horrible and make it award-winning just through editing, honestly. So that is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think I've actually heard that, because I've heard that you want that the editor can kind of make or break you. I have heard that from other actors, because sometimes the editing there are times where I know the editing can really can make it not as good. So you want to hope that you have a really good editor, and if it's an editor that really and I'm sure that you
theater school,
I'm sure you always.
I remember in theater school they told me, they're like, if there's one friend you need to make on set, it's the editors. And I was like, fair enough. I mean, unfortunately, we don't really get to see them very often because they're always in some dark cave somewhere editing but then you meet them at like the wrap party and they're like, Cindy, and you're like, oh my God, who are you? And they're like, I've been watching your face for the last like 6 months. And you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know?
Yeah. Right. So now going back to my dad, now I know you can't tell us how the season ends. I'm not asking for a spoiler as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But are we going to have some kind of resolution? Is there going to at least be a resolution? Are we going to be left hanging at the end of the season? Or are we going to have a resolution? Or is it be kind of a mixed bag? What are we looking at?
There's a little bit of a resolution, but it also will be very interesting when we find out that there may be a season 2. We haven't found that out yet, but I had spoken to Nina before the season was over, because she already had to start thinking about a season 2 if there would be, just to submit some ideas and things like that. And she already knew how this second season would start. So knowing that and knowing how we ended the first season, that's pretty cool. But yeah, there'll be a couple resolutions, but you know, you can never be too sure anytime anything happens. Yeah, I think what will be nice is you'll see a little bit more of my relationship as a friendship with Barry, Ricky's character, and how, you know, she tries to help him along the way, and there's a new character coming into the show. His name is Bjorn, but we call him Thor on the show. His name is Victor Zink, who plays Thor, aka Bjorn. And his character works at the gym. He's amazing. So he brings a really cool dynamic into the show as well. So that's something to look forward to. And So yeah, I think what's going to happen is as the end of the season comes along, there's going to be a lot more dynamic and a lot more stuff going on. You know, the beginning of any first season is just kind of like introducing what's going on, showing the conflict. But as the season unravels, it's really going to start getting a little bit more intense. And you'll start to feel some things happening. But again, I hate not being able to tell. It sucks.
It's okay.
What?
I was just going to say, we actually have a really special person that joined the audience. I looked down, I was like, oh my goodness.
I just saw that Andrea said hi.
Right. Yeah. It's like, wow. Yeah. So that's cool because she was part of the group. She got to be in my very first broadcast, and she was so nice. And so that's nice. That she
love Andrea. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So glad. So Andrea, so glad that you stopped by. That's great. Thank you so much for that. And so how do you're mentioning season 2? Mm-hmm. How can we as the viewers help secure a season 2?
The best way I mean, what you have always been so great at doing, which is supporting us, promoting, hashtagging Date My Dad. Anytime you have anything to say about the show, specifically on Friday nights, 9 Eastern, Up TV, or in Canada on the W Network Tuesday nights at 9. And so that would be the best way, promoting it, talking about it to your friends, watching it, PVRing, DVRing, whatever you call it. And that's really just the best way. Nowadays, social media is so important. It's so important to everything and anything. Like, people get hired because of social media. People, the shows are picked up for other seasons because of fans. And honestly, shows wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you guys watching. So that is a huge component, and the support and the love that I've gotten and the show's gotten is so overwhelming, and it's so incredible. And every time I read every message, like, you get one odd random person that's negative, and like I don't even pay attention to that because it's so not worth it. And I'm like, you know what? If you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all, or go do something else, or go talk to someone who cares, because it's not here. But yeah, I think the best way is honestly just watching the show, sharing it with your friends, because we all know people that would love a show like this. And like you mentioned, there's just not a lot of this kind of content on. So that would be the best thing to do for sure.
Right.
And write to Up TV. Write to Up TV and tell them we want another season.
Right. Oh yeah, because I know that even though there are not a lot of people tuned into this broadcast, I mean, I know that there's a lot of viewers of the show, and that they want a season 2. I mean, it's like, we wanted a season 2, I think, before the show was even here. In fact, I think that you guys and Up TV did such a good job of promoting the show before it even. I
agree. Actually, my friend was on a Virgin Airline flight, I think it was a couple days before the show aired, and she saw a commercial like on the Virgin flight for Date My Dad, and she's like, I was sitting there on my seat, and all of a sudden I'm like, there's Cindy. She's like, wow, that famous line that I said. And she was like, that was you. And I was like, yes, amazing. So it's stuff like that that's so enjoyable. And and Up TV really did a great job. I mean, this is their first scripted series. So that's that's of its kind anyway. And so I think it's nice as well because they also air Heartland, which is another show that I was on. So that's really nice. A lot of people can see my familiar face on Heartland, as well as on Date My Dad, and A Puppy for Christmas aired on Up TV as well. So they've been so supportive, and just like Hallmark and Up TV has been so good to me, and they really create incredible family content. And I listen, I wouldn't have like most of my career has been family content. I'm so happy and grateful about that. I'm so sorry. James wrote something. He's like, I always hashtag up TV. Yay!
That's right. I always try to remember to at least tag it or hashtag, because I know that's really important. So yeah, definitely. I know that also what was mentioned. Is this the first time that you've gotten to work with kids? I wasn't exactly to work that closely. I know that you had a small role on When Calls the Heart. I don't really know if you got to work with kids so much on that.
I just got to meet them I got to meet them, but yeah, I didn't really have any direct scenes. Had the scene when I came out of the carriage, but yeah, that was about it. I didn't have any direct scenes. Have I worked with kids? Yeah, I guess on Heartland a little bit. Jessica Amley was who played Mallory. She was only, I think, 12 or 13 when she started the show, and so that was awesome. You know, there's something about kid actors that's so special. First of all, they're way beyond their years. Like, they're just like old souls in like these small bodies. So, but you know, I really enjoy them. I'm a kid at heart personally, so I always connect really well, and I love to have fun, and I love to be silly, and they do as well. And Zania and Lila and Audrey are so, there's no competition. There's no weirdness between them. They act like sisters. And I know that they've hung out like outside of work as well. And you know, they invited me too, but then it got canceled one time. And I was like, oh, I was going to go. Like, I really wanted to go because they're so lovely and they're so much fun. And that Audrey's such a little spitfire, and Zania is such a talented singer. And Lila knits all the time in between scenes. She is an avid knitter, really, really talented. And all their moms, Zania's sister comes to set with her because they're under 18. But their moms and the sister are so lovely. And they're part of the cast. They're part of the crew as well because they're there every single day that they are. So they're part of the family too, which is kind of special. But you get to see, you know, why they're such lovely human beings, is you get to meet their parents, and they're not like show moms, or they're not, you know, anything like that. They just sit there and they're like, whatever, just another day. And I find that really special, and I really respect that a lot. And then that also shows you why they're such strong women, is you get to meet their strong female influences, their moms. And, you know, my mom is a very strong influence in my life. And I have I always have a soft spot for moms because, you know, you guys just work your butts off. So dads too, by the way, dads too. And that's actually one of the things I love about Date My Dad, is that Ricky Cooper is such a great role model for single dads or dads who show up. Because I got to tell you, they don't get enough props in a world that, you know, there are some dads out there that aren't present, but there are so many great dads that are. And I think that's amazing. And like, keep up that good work, because you deserve it. And all kids deserve to have great dads, because they're just as important as great moms.
Right. Right. Well, and of course he's got it tough because he's got 3 girls. He has no son.
I know. He's going through all the puberty stuff with them.
Yeah, it's so yeah, definitely. I mean, that Ricky Cooper, he is awesome. I mean, that character is awesome. Barry Watson plays him so well. I mean, it is fantastic. So I know the question's been asked, and in fact, no, James, I've not been ignoring you. I've been getting to it because I know he's so I want to let him know I'm not ignoring you. Of course, we want to know what what other works you have coming up that you can mention.
Yeah, I have a movie called Betting on the Bride that I did. I think it's going to be Hallmark, and that was so much fun. It's with Carissa Lee Staples, and she plays my sister. Well, I play her sister, and it's another kind of bridal movie, but really, really funny, really heartwarming, and also a very strong female cast. And yeah, so I've got that coming out. I'm not sure the dates. I'm really not sure of, but of course on my social media I will advertise the crap out of it when the time comes. So I have Betting on the Bride, then I have Runaway Christmas Bride that I just did with Ion, and that I'm assuming will be out sometime at Christmas time, probably December. And then the last thing I just did is called The Ranch, and that is a Mar Vista movie, which is the same company that did A Puppy for Christmas. And I'm not sure which, it could be Hallmark or UpTV, or I'm not sure yet. And that is called The Ranch, and potentially changing the title though. So not 100% sure, but Kevin McGarry plays in that with me, and he is on Heartland now as well. We never got to be on the show at the same time, but he is a cast member. This is his 3rd year now. So, and he was so lovely. And we have the same birthday, which was so funny. I know, what are the chances? Yeah, March 18th. So we have the same birthday. So that was really cool. And so again, that one that one is gonna be out in the fall, because it's supposed to be done by end of September. So I'm assuming it'll be out sometime in the fall. But again, I'll be advertising those as they come. So yeah, it's been a really, really incredible, busy year for me. And I'm just so happy and excited about everything. I feel so grateful. And you know what the best part is not only do I get to play really fun characters, but the people I get to work with, I was telling that, you know, there's circumstances on sets aren't always perfect, but if the people you work with are amazing, that makes all the difference. It's like anything, right? Like, you know, you can be having a bad day, but if you're in good company, what does it matter if you got a flat tire in the road? Because you're with someone you love. So that's all that matters.
Right. I agree with you on that, definitely. So I guess the question's coming up, what movie is it that has the skiing?
That's a Runaway Christmas Bride. Yes.
All right. Because I wasn't sure. I was thinking, okay, I don't want to look that, because I wasn't sure which movie that was either.
And we actually shot that on a real, you know, a lot of these Christmas movies aren't shot with real snow. Which is fine, but we actually shot with real snow on a mountain called Mount Washington. It's just on Vancouver Island, and it was such a beautiful place, but there was so much snow. But we were shooting there on a week where it was about like in 80 degrees or so, like hot, probably like 85, and we were wearing like ski jackets and gloves and the whole thing. And I remember looking at Travis Milne, who was my co-star in that. I remember at one point he was off camera, so he unzipped his jacket, and I remember looking at his t-shirt and it was just like drenched in sweat. And I just remember thinking like, oh my goodness, this is, I mean, good problems, but still very uncomfortable, but it's better than freezing, I suppose. So there's that.
Yeah, because I know that people who filmed some spring movies in Vancouver, when there was all the snow back in January and February. Yes. Oh, I know. And they were supposed to be filming, it's supposed to be springtime, and there's snow.
And Vancouver never gets snow, which is, this year's been so out of whack, but what can you do? It's Mother Nature. She makes her own rules.
That's so true. Yeah. Now, are you, I know it's listed in your IMDb that you are in, what's the name of the show? Is it somewhere.
Oh, somewhere between, yeah. It's ABC soon.
Right. And that, I think, is scheduled, at least I had heard that's scheduled to be out next month. I don't know if that's true, but I had heard at one time.
I actually have no idea.
Right.
Like, probably. I know that they just about finished shooting. I think they finished last week, or they were finishing this week. But yeah, I'm assuming it'll be pretty soon because they started in February, end of February, I think it is.
Right.
So yeah, probably soonish. But oh my gosh, that is a show to watch. No kidding. The story, I mean, it's going to be very different than like the Hallmark stuff, but it's going to be one of those shows that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. You're not going to know what's going to happen next. It is really cool. It's a really cool show.
Right.
And so many actors and so many talented people.
Oh, I know. The cast list, it's like you look at the cast list and I mean, I couldn't get over the talent that is connected to that.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a great show to look.
So I think you're like on a couple episodes, I think is what it said.
I'm in 3 episodes. It's just a nice like little cameo for me. I was so grateful to have been a part of it, and yeah, it's super, super exciting I can't wait. I honestly, and it was really, I mean, I can't even talk about any of it other than it's a show and I'm in it.
Right. I know. I
would only get the scripts I was in. Like, there's so many holes in the story that I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to watching it myself.
You can see, how does my character fit in? I can imagine. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I think at least I had heard, because I interviewed, I haven't actually posted the interview yet, but I interviewed Aaron Craven, who's, and because he was the one who said, well, if you're asking about that show, I can't tell you anything. I don't want spoilers. I just want to promote it for you. It's not, it's like, I just want to say you're in it. And,
I'm in it, and that's all I can say.
I know, that's what he said. He said, I can't say anything. I'm like, it's okay. It's all right. It's fine.
But thank you for asking. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because at least he had mentioned it's supposed to be next month. I mean, we'll see. I know things change sometimes, but at least it's a big network show. And so, and I know it's a go, so it's not like they're just going to all of a sudden say, no, we're not, we changed our minds.
It's great to see. That's a bonus for sure.
That is good. So that's something that we have to look forward to coming up somewhat soon.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That'll be good. We'll be looking forward to that. Now, of course, the Hardys, it was so great, and I know we mentioned it, but it was so great to see you in One Calls the Heart. That was awesome to have you join that cast, and even though it was a couple episodes and your character wasn't that nice to begin with, your character eventually your character was good. And
yeah, but you know what? You gotta have characters that bring in some action, because TV wouldn't be exciting. Nobody would watch if everything was like cookie cutter. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but I really love playing characters like that. Like, I love being the antagonist and bringing some drama to stories. And I know, and because I know I'm not like that in real life, so it doesn't bother me. And I think I play them pretty well, because people get pretty fired up about it. So that's usually a good sign. But yeah, I had auditioned for One Calls the Heart a couple times, not that much. And I was really happy to get to play that character. I was sad that Andrea and I didn't get to work together, but yeah, it was really nice. And I mean, I don't know if my character would ever come back. You know, anything is possible. I would obviously totally be into that and gladly go to the show again. And getting to play on a period piece was so fun. I'd only ever done that, I think, like once or twice before, but this was like the oldest I'd gone. So that was really, really cool to get to try on those costumes. And they actually had most of my costumes tailored to my body, which is what they mostly do. Yeah, and so the costume designers are incredible on that show. Yeah, Erin is lovely. Lori is amazing. Yeah, no, again, no. One of the number one things I love working, and my best friend Sarah Smith and I were actually just having a walk yesterday, and we were talking about this. We were talking about Hallmark, and we're like, you know what the best thing about Hallmark is every time I work on one of their projects, and she was saying the same, it is one of the funnest, most enjoyable experiences. Like, everyone on set is awesome. The crews just know what they're doing. It's like a well-oiled machine. The producers are great. They just come in, they make these movies or these TV shows, they leave. It's like, it just works. And I really respect how well they execute things and how they make them happen and how easy it is, because that's not the case for a lot of things. And I think that they've really figured out a formula that works well. And that's such a great thing that they have, and that is a wonderful experience for someone like me.
Right. I could not agree more. I mean, I know I've not been on a Hallmark set or anything, but I have heard what you're saying is exactly from every actor, every cast member, crew member. I hear it. It is an amazing thing that Hallmark has going, and
absolutely. Yeah. And that's why they just keep growing and growing, and there's such a big market for what they do. People love it. And again, it comes back down to the same thing Up TV is doing. It's like creating content for families because they've gotten forgotten along the way, So that's why it's working so well.
Right. And then, of course, we've gotten to see you on Haley Dean also, Haley Dean Mysteries. I was so excited because I knew you were on the first one, and then to turn around, it's like, oh, they put her on the second one too. I was so excited.
You know what? That was actually unexpected for me as well, because when I originally did the first one, which was the first one they ever did, I didn't know that they would ask me to come back. It was kind of like an open-ended sort of thing. And so when I got the call, I was working on Date My Dad, and for the second one, and my agent called me and told me that they wanted me to come back, and I was like, of course, I would love to come back. And the producers of Date My Dad were awesome, and Haley Dean, and we were able to make it work in my schedule, which was lovely. And it was nice to just get back with the same director and pretty much the same cast, other than a few new people, obviously a new villain and all that kind of thing. But it was so great seeing Kelly. Kelly and I went for dinner one night. Like, she's just, I don't know. All I can say is lovely things about everyone I work with, apparently. But I truly feel so lucky. Like, I get to work with amazing people, and Kelly is probably in one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever worked with. Like, hands down, just a good human being who's a great, talented actress who just shows up, has fun, grateful for what she does, and is a great family woman. She's got her priorities straight. And I really dig that about her.
Yeah.
And she's hilarious. It's funny because she plays a lot of dramatic stuff, but she is so funny. I love it. I think I get along best with people that have such a great sense of humor, because they don't take themselves so seriously. And I think that that's one of the great things I love about Barry in Date My Dad. And then one of the things I loved about Kelly too is that she's just like always ready to just like, kind of like riff raff with me.
Right. Right. And so have you heard whether they're going to do any more Haley Dean Mysteries?
I think they're supposed to. It's definitely, I think it's supposed to be an ongoing series, but I don't know when they're going to be shooting them, or I guess it just depends on a lot of availabilities and things like that, and scripts. But again, if there's another one, I don't know if I would be in it, but of course I would definitely be a part of it if they asked me to. So.
Right. And I'm assuming that you haven't heard any more about whether there'll be a sequel to Unleashing Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I again, I can't really say too much, but I definitely heard some positive things in that regards. But I haven't been contacted in reference to scheduling or hiring or anything like that. So I definitely think there is an Unleashing Mr. Darcy 2 floating around in the universe somewhere, which has been talked about, definitely seriously talked about, but we haven't shot anything and I haven't been personally contacted yet. So it's not in the wheelhouse right now, but I wouldn't close the chapter on it, is what I'm saying.
That sounds good. Well, I
don't want to be 50 doing Unleashing Mr. Darcy too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but I bet you'll look amazing at 50. I mean, my goodness, you.
I mean, with Raquel, I'll get some of Raquel Welch's secrets.
There you go. Yeah. So see, now we have to have a season 2, so you can go back and get all those secrets from her and say, we got to get a season 2 so Cindy can get all those beauty secrets and she can keep looking and she'll be just as amazing and she can keep going. At 80, she can still make all those movies for us, right? Right. That's what we'll be going for.
You know what? At 80, why not? Probably have some new dogs though, that's for sure. I don't know that they'll last that long.
That's true. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know that it can happen as far as there being a sequel, because it wasn't that long ago that, I don't know if you've heard about All of My Heart, if you know about that Hallmark movie, have you?
No.
But All of My Heart was a movie that, because of the fans and because of the people connected with it, because that was Brennan Elliott and Lacey Chabert.
Okay.
Years ago, and it was a big deal. I mean, we fans kept pushing. We want a sequel. We want a sequel. We want a sequel. A sequel is actually going to happen, and so they're actually going to shoot. They're planning to shoot a sequel, either late summer, early fall,
really?
something like that.
That's so awesome.
So that took a couple of years of us.
This is the power you guys have. So, you know what I mean? It's you guys just have to keep requesting things, and that's all it takes. Some positive reinforcement.
That's right. That's you never know.
I know Unleashing Mr. Darcy plays a lot, so that's for sure.
Right. So maybe we just have to keep working for another year or so, get everything lined up, and I mean, I know the author's on board. I know she's into it.
Totally on board. She is so lovely, and I hope she can make another cameo in the second when and if we shoot it. So that would be pretty cool.
Right. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you. So now you're finally a part of the comedy series, which is something that you have really wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
Is this something? Are you going to ever get to a point where maybe you write your own comedy series, direct it, star in it, all, kind of do it all, or is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I definitely would like to dabble in other things other than acting. I think writing I have a couple friends of mine, Elise and Devin. We started writing sketches together. And we put that a little bit on hold because we got busy, but I know that we're going to probably get back into it. And I think maybe directing, I think producing is something I would really like to get into, actually. That's what my boyfriend does. He's in producing, and I would really like to dabble in that. I think that I have a lot of great ideas, but I also am a very organized person. I feel like I'm a very big mover and a shaker sort of thing. And I think I think producing is incredibly good because you really start from the beginning and you're there till the end. And the reason things come about is because of producers and production. And so that's absolutely something I'm really interested right now. It's cool because the producers of The Ranch that I just worked with, Good Soldier Films, they are director-producer combo together, a married couple, Brigitte and Andrew. And I was really, really passionate and fascinated by what they did. And it was actually really nice to work with them and see. And Brigitte was the producer. And she was just so awesome and worked really hard and just, they delivered and they made a great product. And you know what? They actually really planted a seed in me to explore the behind the scenes a lot more. And I'm really excited to do that. So it's very, very much in the early stages, but it's something that I'm starting to kind of really think about and to start to pursue.
Okay, well that's good. I was kind of, yeah, I think I could see you as a producer. I actually could see you eventually, you know, maybe you're not at that point yet, but I could see you eventually directing too. I don't know. I think
I would love to direct. Absolutely. That's definitely on my list. You know, there's so many wonderful things. And I think as a woman too, there's not enough female directors, but I think it's becoming more and more. And I think Wonder Woman is a great example of how great that can be. So yeah, I'm definitely open to the opportunity. I think that anything is possible, and I think the possibilities are endless. So I'm totally open and excited about it.
Right. Well, that is good, because I just keep thinking that it's really cool for me, because I realized I didn't watch you in Heartland, but I've been watching you then since Cedar Cove, and it's just been neat to see the progression of your career and to see all these opportunities come your way. And I'm just always at what I get so excited when there are these people like you that I follow so closely, and I watch everything that you're in, and it's so neat to see all these opportunities come your way, because it's like, I know how hard you've worked to get there. And
yeah, you know, and I appreciate you saying that, because it's so easy for people to just watch the final product and just see all of the greatness of it. And it is all great, but it's definitely so much work. And, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs in every actor's career. And of course, most of social media just highlights all of the great parts. And because, you know, with reason, it's incredible when it's going really well, but there are moments where it's not going so great, but, you know, nobody really talks about that part. But you know, it's people like you and any fan that, like, anytime people are busy and great things are happening, it's just nice to know that the support is there. And that is probably my favorite part of the Hallmark community, is the support. I mean, you guys are just like above and beyond anything else. I'd probably compare it to the sci-fi community, actually, because the sci-fi community is huge and they will support you till the end. And I think that has been the greatest gift as far as Hallmark, you know, Hallmark, any kind of family show has taught me.
Yeah, well, I can say I know that the Hallmark community has been wonderful for me, because they and the Hardys. I mean, now that the Hardys, you probably get all the support from the Hardys as well, because
yeah, totally.
Because the Hardys are like this big. They're a big part of that Hallmark community, and they are a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah, they are very present, and they're very protective, and I get it. You know, I get it. And that's why when I showed up, they loved to hate my character, but like there was a lot of love there, so it's all good. But yeah, I mean, the Hardys have welcomed me with open arms, like from the minute I started advertising it, and they were so excited because a lot of them recognized me from other things. And so I think that when you have someone who enjoys your work and then you show up on their favorite show, it's heaven, really.
Right. Yeah, actually, shout out to Kate, I think it's Kate Whitley says Hallmark fans
is the best. Woohoo! Thanks, Kate. They are.
Yeah. And I can assure you that Hallmark fans will come and watch this interview once it gets reposted and everything.
Oh,
I mean, they will
sure.
comment.
No, absolutely.
And
You know what? It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock. People, and I don't know what it's like where everybody else is living, but in Vancouver right now, it is like there isn't a cloud in the sky. Like it is. I'll give you a little sneak peek.
ooh,
Pretty nice out there right now. Pretty beautiful. So that's the view I'm looking at right now.
wow. Yeah, it's nice to have a break from the rain, definitely.
This year has definitely been rainy. That is for sure.
Right. Well, I think I'm just making sure that we've gotten to all the questions that were posted, and I mean, it's been great. I so appreciate, Cindy, that you take the time to do this, because I know we covered a lot of ground, and we've actually picked up viewers. It's been something to watch the viewers. At one point we had 3, and now we have 8. We're ending like we've more than doubled our viewers. So it's like, I mean, that's really cool. Because like you said, it's Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and so anyway, I thank you for taking the time to do this, and it's been great chatting with you. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, honestly, it's been my pleasure. I'm so happy to talk about Date My Dad, because again, it's such a passion project for me, and I'm really happy to touch base with all of the other Hallmark stuff. And again, thanks to you for always being such a big supporter of mine and a big Hallmark supporter. And I know that you're it's funny, I talked to Chris, who's my boyfriend, and I told him, I'm like, oh, I have my interview with Ruth Hill today. And he's like, oh yeah, Ruth, because it's funny, I refer to you as like the godmother of Hallmark.
Okay, I haven't heard that one. Okay.
Because I feel like I feel like the community is there, but you kind of like rally the troops together. You're like, all right, everybody, we're doing this. And like, it's just like, it's really cool to have someone like you. And I think there's a couple of you, but you're the one who stands out for me. And anyway, but thank you for making this happen and sharing it with everyone. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. So now I have a new title. I haven't heard that one. So I remember that.
Godmother Hallmark. There you go. As said by Cindy Busby.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, I'll remember that. This is really cool. Well, and for those of you who might have missed most, because I noticed Kate's worried that she's missed most of this. This will be put all together so that people will be able to sit down and watch it. It'll be, I'll edit out the beginning and we'll make it look really good. So don't worry if you missed it, you'll still get to rewatch it. We'll have, and
I will retweet as well and share on my Facebook page. So
yeah, so it will be there. It won't be going away. It'll be back up probably by sometime early tomorrow, and we'll get it. So
perfect.
All right. Well,
thank you so much. Enjoy Date My Dad tonight. Every Friday on Up TV at 9 Eastern, and then in Canada, the W Network on Tuesdays. Thank you.
All right. Well, I know that I'll be watching, and I'm sure that a lot of other people will be watching. So thank you so much, Cindy. It was a lovely getting to talk to you.
Love talking to you. Thank you for everything. Bye, everybody who tuned in. Mwah.
All right. Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.